right, so Davi saw a proposal that still got her kind of shaking her head.
Yeah, I'm very confused, and it's not yours, Bert. It had nothing to do with you, but I'm just wondering, like, are men okay? What's happening?
What happened?
Okay.
Oh, man, we just had a good man. Now we're going backwards.
Times have changed like in 30 seconds. A lot can happen in radio in 30 seconds, Mo. So, yes, last weekend, my husband and I went out to a restaurant, and, they've still got, it's nice and distanced. The tables are all far apart, and it's very romantic and candlelit, and we're just having a good time. And my attention span is very small, so like when I see something strange, I focus on it, and I can't get it. I can't leave it alone. And my husband's just like, these oysters are great, whatever, and we're having a good time. But like, I see the table next to me. It's a very cute couple, the cutest, and they're probably like late 20s, and like having a great little candlelit dinner just like us, and we're talking, like it's not one of those awkward angry tables, when you see a date and you don't see them say a word to each other, and you're like, oh, they've been together at minimum 3 years, and they're bored. So they were having a good time and very sweet, and it was just like such a cool vibe. And then I see the guy, and I always notice this on airplanes, I see the guy reach down and slip his shoe off. Like, he slips off one shoe, like his right one, underneath the table. And I was like, whenever we get on airplanes, my husband will try to pop a shoe off, and I'm like, don't you dare.
You can't do that.
He has a foot bomb like nobody's business, and everybody will know it came from E23. They'll narrow it down to the Crimmins family, and like, I don't know, something terrible will happen. So I notice when men start taking their shoes off in public, it's a pet peeve. So I see him slip his shoe off under the table, and I'm like, what the hell's he doing? And then a couple minutes later, like, he stands up and he's got one shoe on, one shoe off, and he gets down on one knee. And my husband, Blair, is like, oh my God, look what's happening. I was like, his shoe's off. And he's like, no, look what's happening. And I was like, his shoe is off. Like, I couldn't get over it. I was like, what is going on? So he gets down one knee. She's like, like screaming, in tears. And he starts proposing. And he's got these beautiful words. I couldn't hear half of it because of all the restaurant noise and the forks and whatnot. And so, but it was beautiful. And he's proposing with one shoe on, and I was so confused. And she was so happy. She loved the ring. It was gorgeous. She put it on. Yay. Everybody in the restaurant clapped. It was a beautiful moment, and I love it for them. But why was this shoe off? It's driving me insane. So like, the rest of the time, Blair and I were there, like, and then they sit down, and she's gushing over the ring, and they finish their meal, and they're just in love. And he's like, underneath the table, puts his shoe back on. And it's like, she was none the wiser, like, had no idea it happened, but I was just focused on it. And Blair's like, what does that matter? And I'm like, it matters. Like, I have no idea what I was like, maybe they're Jewish. And he's like, what does that have to do with anything? And I was like, when you get married, I was like, don't people at Jewish weddings like stomp on something at their wedding? So maybe there's something about a shoe has to be off.
I think that's good policy right there. Anytime you ever see anything confusing in public, just automatically assume that a person is Jewish.
No, it wasn't that. I was like, it's got to be a culture thing. So I was like, I know that they stomp on something at Jewish weddings. And he's like, yeah, they stomp on like a glass under that. That has nothing to do with it. And I was like, okay, in some cultures, like, shoes are the most offensive thing in the world. Like, you take them off outside of the mosque, and you can't. And then, like, do you guys remember when George W. Bush, when he was president, and somebody threw a shoe at him?
Yeah.
And he dodged it like freaking Matrix, you know, and like, everybody, like, I learned about then, like, shoes are like the middle finger to that culture. So I was like, maybe it's a culture thing, but I could not figure out why this guy popped his shoe off just to propose, and then popped it back on like nothing. And it's driving me insane.
Maybe mystery solved here. Jordan, good morning. Why would a dude take his shoe off in order to propose?
Okay, so Davi, what kind of shoe was it? Because if it was some J's, I'm taking it off too. I'm not creasing my shoes for nobody. I don't care what
That's
kind
a
of situation
fact.
it is.
He was
Hey, man, there is no way I'm creasing my shoe.
The crease in the shoe.
That's call of the day right there. 100%. Yes, sir.
Crease in
my
the
God.
shoe. So
Can't crease the truth.
this is happening in my house all the time now with my 13-year-old who loves his drip and he loves his shoes, right? He's walking around all stiff like this. And I'm like, dude, what's the matter with you? And he's like, I don't want to crease my shoes. I'm like,
so,
what?
Hold on.
Yeah.
The whole process of like breaking in a shoe, that doesn't happen with Jays?
No, certain sneakers, you don't break in anything. You don't walk normal for at least 2 years when you get a brand new pair of certain sneakers. Absolutely.
I would have never thought this, but Brittany, you've got the same theory.
Yes, I have a pair of Vans, a Tribe Called Quest Vans, and no way you'll catch me bending down and creasing my foot.
Absolutely not.
Oh my God. Okay, I think we might have nailed it because I'm pretty sure they were like really nice, like white sneakers. Oh my God, I think they were Jay's, and he nailed it. And it's all coming together now. And I'm like, yeah, okay, he didn't want to crease his shoe. Like, what if she said no and he creased his shoe? That'd be the worst evening of all time.
The worst day of your life.
Yeah, Cassie.
Yeah, that's normal. There's a whole thread of guys who take off their shoes before they propose so they don't crease their sneaker. But that means you care about your sneaker more than the proposal, and I don't want it.
No, it doesn't.
Oh,
Don't start that.
yes,
That's not it. You can
Yes,
care
it
about
does.
both the same. Don't.
My
You really
mind
love
is
me, you'll
blown.
destroy your J's.
Davi, if you could see the way my son walks, he looks like he's got 2 casts on both legs because he does not want to crease his shoes.
That's
I
a
am
fact.
fascinated. I feel like I saw history in the making. This is so cool.
You're on The Bert Show.